Hi everybody, I'm Pia from Stitches and Scraps. Today I'm going to show you how to knit the favorite jeans scarf. This video goes along with a full written pattern which includes a couple of charts. You can find a link to the pattern and the charts in the description on this video if you're watching it on YouTube, or in the blog post if you're watching this directly on my blog. I'll be using Cascade Pacific yarn in the colors Denim Heather, Dusty Blue, and Burnt Cinnamon. Cascade did give me the yarn for this design and the tutorial. Let's look briefly at the structure of this pattern. The beginning and ending edges have a few rows of garter stitch for a border. Then we have these sections of this diagonal stitch design. They alternate in color and also in direction. So this one is leaning towards the left and this one's leaning towards the right. In between, they're separated by just a couple of rows of garter stitch in a contrasting color to look like the seams you would have on a pair of jeans. On the side edges, there's a narrow border of just 2 stitches of seed stitch on each side that help control the curling a little bit. This pattern will curl naturally, and if you want to control the curling more, if you want it to lay a little flatter, you can actually make more stitches of seed stitch on the side, and we'll look at that as we go through the pattern. So let's get started. We're going to start by casting on a multiple of 4 stitches. You can use any cast on you prefer. I like to use a German twisted cast on, and I do have a full video tutorial for that, which I will add a link to as well, but I'll just show it to you briefly here. It's a long tail variation, so you do need to leave a long tail, about maybe 3 to 4 times the length of your cast on, and then make a slip knot. Put the slip knot onto your needle and cinch it up. You don't want it too tight. Okay, now we're going to hold both tails in the palm of our hand. I'm using my last 3 fingers. Take your index finger and stick it between those 2 strands and then let your thumb follow it. Now tilt it up to make that Y shape that you use for a long tail cast on. The twisted part is that instead of going through the middle, we're going to come around and twist back through. So you go under both strands that are around your thumb, twist back and go between them and pull it out kind of backwards like that. And then you grab this inside strand from your index finger and pull it through the hole. So let's see that one more time. I'm going under both strands, I'm going down through the center, and then I bend my thumb down and that makes a hole right there. I'm going to grab this strand here, pull it through that hole, and that's made my stitch. Now I let go with my thumb and I reposition my thumb while I'm tightening that stitch. One more time, a little faster, under both, through the center, grab that loop, pull it through, and tighten. Okay. And that's how you do the German twisted cast on. But you can use any cast on you prefer, and if you want to see that cast on in more detail, I will add a link to that video as well. Okay, I have 12 stitches cast on just for this demo. For the full pattern, you're going to use 32, but I just wanted a smaller swatch for the demo. It's a multiple of 4, so you can use any multiple of 4 that you like. The pattern starts with 8 rows of garter stitch. Garter stitch means that you knit every row, whether you're on the right side or the wrong side, so we're going to do that for 8 rows. So you're just going to knit every stitch on both sides of the work for 8 rows. I've just done 4 rows for this swatch, but for the full pattern you'll do 8 rows, which will look like this. So now let's get started with the pattern stitch, the left diagonal rib. This is the chart for the left diagonal rib. When the number is on the right, that means it's a right side row and we work in this direction. When the number is on the left, it's a wrong side row and we work in this direction. If you see a white square and you're on a right side row, you're going to knit. If you're on a wrong side row, you're going to purl. When you see the square with the line in it, if you're on a right side row, you're going to purl, and if you're on a wrong side row, you're going to knit. Now these 2 stitches on each edge are the seed stitch border. If you want a wider seed stitch border, just repeat these 2 stitches more times. So this is a knit purl, and if you want to say you want a 4-stitch border instead of a 2-stitch border, you would just go knit purl again. So I start with a knit 1 and a purl 1 for that edge. So let's knit 1 and then purl 1. And that brings us to the repeat section. Now again, you can work that knit 1 and purl 1 again if you want a wider edge. So the repeat section starts with knit 2 and then purl 1. So bring my yarn back to the back again, knit 2, and then purl 1. Now you can see here that the repeat has another knit, but then it comes back around and has 2 more knits. So you're actually knitting 3 in a row here. Okay, so it goes knit 3 and then purl 1. So knit 3 and then purl 1. Now I'm near the end of mine, but you'll have several more repeats. You'll have 7 repeats total. So we've just worked 2. You'll have another 5 to go before you reach the end. But since I'm nearly at the end, I've just purled that one. I just have 1 more knit to finish this repeat. So 1 more knit, and that takes me to my last 2 stitches. And again, if you added stitches here, do the same here. So leave yourself 4 stitches. You'll have 4 stitches left over. And now I'm going to purl 1 and knit 1. And as long as you're adding stitches in pairs on each side, you'll be adding 4 stitches. So like if you do this twice and you do this twice, you're adding 4 stitches. So you're still at a 4-stitch repeat. But that is the end of row 9. Now row 10, remember, is a wrong side row. So we're turning our work and we're starting with, this is now a knit stitch, remember? Because on the wrong side, this is a knit. So we're going to knit and then purl just like we did before. Your first 2 stitches of every row are going to be knit and purl. And your last 2 stitches of every row are going to be purl and knit. So knit, purl. Now for our repeat, remember this is a knit and these are purls now because we're on the wrong side row. So we're going to knit 1 and purl 3, and that's our repeat section. So you're going to do that 7 times. I'm going to do it twice. So knit 1 and purl 3. Knit 1 and purl 3. Now I've come to my last 2 stitches, which are going to be a purl and then a knit. So purl 1 and knit 1. Okay, and you can see that we're starting to develop this diagonal here where there's one little purl bump and there's the next one next to it. I'm not sure you can see it yet, but we'll see it better as we progress. We're creating these diagonal lines. Row 11 is a right side row. It starts with knit 1, purl 1, and then our repeat is going to be purl 1, knit 3. So kind of the opposite of what we just did, right? So knit 1, purl 1. Okay, now our repeat, purl 1, knit 3. So purl 1, knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Purl 1, knit 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we end, you're going to keep repeating that, and we end with a purl 1 and a knit 1. Purl 1 and knit 1. Row 12 is a wrong side row and starts again with a knit 1 and purl 1. So let's do that. Turn our work. Knit 1 and purl 1. That's our seed stitch edge. Now here again we've got purl 2 and knit 1, just like the opposite of what we had down here, remember? So now we're going to do purl 2 and knit 1. So bring that around and we purl 2 and then we knit 1. And now you can see that this wraps around, right? So it's actually purl 1, 2, 3 because this is where our repeat is. So purl 1 and then start the new repeat with 2 and 3. We're going to purl 3 and we're going to knit 1. Purl 3 and knit 1. Now I'm nearing the end here, so I'm just going to go ahead and purl that last one there, but you'll do that repeat of purl 3, knit 1 more times. And then it's purl 1, knit 1 for the end. So purl 1 and knit 1. Okay, so that is the repeat. That's the 4-row repeat that creates our diagonal lines. Do you see the diagonal lines there? Okay. We're going to end the row with basically a repeat of row 9 again. We're going to use that to end that section. So let's repeat that again. It's knit 1, purl 1. Knit 2, purl 1. Oops, there we go. Knit 1, 2, 3 and purl 1. And keep repeating that till you get to the end. Knit that last stitch of that last repeat. And then you're to the end where you purl 1 and knit 1. There we go. Now I'm going to change colors and I'm going to do it in garter stitch on the wrong side row. And what that's going to do is it's going to give me these little bumps. And that's what I want to get this stitching look, right? So we're going to turn our work and we're going to grab our burnt cinnamon color and I'm going to knit 2 rows. So it's 2 rows of garter stitch. It's just knit every stitch, right side and wrong side. So to change colors, I'm just going to work this first knit stitch by putting my needle in like normal, and then instead of putting this yarn over, I'm going to make a loop, leaving a little bit of a tail. I made a loop out of the burnt cinnamon, and I'm going to slide that on and knit with that. And then just to lock in the tail a little bit, I like to knit the next stitch with both the tail and the working yarn. It makes a little double loop. You have to be sure to knit through that together later, but it helps to lock in that yarn. You don't have to do that. That's just what I do when I'm changing colors. Okay, so I'm just knitting every stitch to the end of the row. When I turn, you can see how that's created these alternating bumps in the burnt cinnamon color and the denim heather color. And that was the look I was going for. Now I'm going to knit 1 more row in this burnt cinnamon color. And that's where I had to go through both loops at the same time. And then I pull on this tail just to tighten up that first stitch. There we go. Okay, so that is my burnt cinnamon section there. It's just 2 rows of garter stitch. That's all it is. Now I'm going to change to the dusty blue, and when I do that, just like the burnt cinnamon created these lines here when I changed, the dusty blue is going to create these lines because I'm again working a row of garter stitch on the wrong side of the fabric. Now I don't recommend carrying the colors up along the side of the row, so I've gone ahead and cut my tails so far. You can, but it makes for a messier edge. Cutting them every time, I know that's more tails to weave in, but it makes for a much neater edge. And we're not putting an edging on the scarf, so I recommend cutting them in every section. So now, just like I did when I did the burnt cinnamon, I'm going to change to dusty blue. And I'm going to knit this row. Drop my tail. So I've knit one row, and now you can see the bumps of the lighter blue against the bumps of the burnt cinnamon. And that is that whole center section right here. So now we're on to our next section of diagonal rib. But this time we're going to turn the other way. So where we were going to the left with these bumps, we're now going to go to the right with these ones. That's the only change, is that these ones go to the right and these ones went to the left. So we start again. We're on a right side row. We start again with our knit and purl. Okay. This is actually exactly the same as row 9. We're going to knit and purl. And then we're going to knit 2 and purl 1. Okay. And then we're going to knit 1, 2, 3 and purl 1. And then because I'm at the end, I'm just going to knit my last stitch for the repeats, but you're going to repeat that a few more times. So I'm just going to knit that last stitch, and then I purl 1 and knit 1. So purl 1 and knit 1. And tighten up my color change there. There we go. Okay. So now we turn and we start with knit 1 and purl 1, because remember this is a wrong side row. Okay. Now we're going to purl 2, knit 1, purl 2, and knit 1. Okay, and now we purl 1, 2, 3 and knit 1. And you're going to do that a few more times. I'm at the end here, so I'm going to purl my last one here for the repeat, and then purl 1 and knit 1. So purl 1 and knit 1. Okay. On the next row, it starts again, knit 1, purl 1. So I'm going to knit 1 and purl 1. And then I purl another one and knit 3. So the repeat is purl 1, knit 3. So let's do that twice. Purl 1, you'll do it 7 times. Knit 3, 1, 2, 3. And then purl 1, knit 3 again. Purl 1, knit 3. And then we end with a purl 1 and a knit 1. Now this row, the last row of the repeat, is knit 1, purl 1. Remember, it's a wrong side row, so knit 1, purl 1. And then knit 1, purl 3 is our repeat. So knit 1, purl 3, knit 1, purl 3. You're going to do it 7 times. I'm going to do it twice. So knit 1, purl 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 1, purl 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we end with a purl 1 and a knit 1. Oh, there we go. Purl 1 and knit 1. Okay. And then we're going to repeat that. You're going to do it 8 times for your section. And then after you finish your repeat, you're going to do row 77, which is the same thing as row 45. So just one more row in the section here. So we're going to knit 1, purl 1, knit 2, purl 1, knit 1, 2, 3, and then purl 1. And then you're going to repeat that, and I'm at the end here, so I knit that one last one. And then for my edge, purl 1, knit 1. Purl 1, knit 1. Okay, and you can see here that these lines were going this way, but now these lines are going this way. So that's the repeating pattern. We're going to work our 8 repeats of 4 rows each in the darker color with the diagonal leaning towards the left, and then we work that little seam in between, and then the lighter color with the diagonals leaning towards the right, and you're going to keep repeating that until you get to the end of your scarf. Now we're going to end with the lighter color. Now when we get to the end, we're going to do another garter stitch border. I've gone ahead and done 8 rows of garter stitch, which puts you at a wrong side row for the bind off. I think the wrong side row bind off blends in perfectly with the garter stitch, but if you prefer, I know some people prefer to always bind off on the right side. If you prefer that, you can work 7 rows of garter stitch or 9 rows of garter stitch instead of the 8 rows, and that will put you on a right side row for the bind off. But the way I did it in the pattern was 8 more rows of garter stitch, so it matches the other side. I've done my 4 rows of garter stitch. You'll be doing more, either 7, 8, or 9, whatever you decide. And I'm ready to bind off. I'm on the wrong side. You can use whatever bind off you like, but I've chosen a decrease bind off because I feel like that matches the German twisted cast on really nicely. I do have a full tutorial for this bind off, which I will include a link to, but I'll show it to you briefly here as well. So a decrease bind off is basically a series of decreases and then putting the stitch back on the left needle to use it again for the next decrease. So we're going to decrease by knitting these 2 stitches together, just like that. And now I'm going to put this stitch back on the left needle. Now make sure you're coming in from the back so that it's oriented correctly. Okay? And now this stitch, I've got one less stitch, right? Because I did a decrease. Now this stitch and this stitch are going to get decreased together. And that binds off one more stitch by doing a decrease. And I put that back on the needle. Okay? And I keep doing that. Knit 2 together. And put it back on the needle. Okay, I'm nearing the end here. Put that one back on. Decrease these 2 together. Put it back on the left needle. And now I'm down to my last 2. Decrease these 2 together. Okay, and then you can just cut this yarn and pull this loop out nice and big until the end comes out, and that is how you do the decrease bind off. So that, in a mini version, is how you make the favorite jeans scarf. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, or leave me a comment. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel for more great videos. Thanks for watching.